Baumqwadi, since the first mining charter was introduced in 2004, we know as a matter of fact that white foreign owned mining companies have failed to comply with the mining charter. This is the nature of charters across the board. They fail because they are not legislated. And we will never reach transformation targets without these targets being legislated as acts of parliament. On what legislative basis was the Mineral and Petroleum Resources Development Act Amendment Bill withdrawn? Why did you withdraw it?
Honorable Minister.
The amendments of the MPRDA have been in Parliament since 2013. They were drafted in 2012. Now, if you have amendments that remain on the table for more than 5 years, the first thing that will happen is that the amendments themselves will become irrelevant. Number two, even now, those amendments were not going to pass because in the NCOP, division reflected that they were not going to pass. Instead, they would proscribe with the rising of the fifth parliament. So on that basis, we rather start from scratch and deal with the sector properly and appropriately.
Okay. Honorable Lorima.
Minister, you've said that this charter of yours will unlock investment, and we disagree. Now, if this charter does not unlock significant investment within a year, and significant is, say, 25% increase, will you admit that you were wrong and that you've caused us to miss out on job creation, and will you resign?
Honorable Minister.
No, Mr. Lorima is putting the cart before the horse. If you were part of the investment conference, if you were in part of the investment conference, you would have seen the change of the attitude in mining. And their active participation in the investment conference indicate to us that there is a fundamental change in the industry that was very negative all the time. You know, the 71 billion rand that you said, where does it come from? From Anglo. It is an investment that Anglo says we are unlocking it, we are putting it back to the industry because the environment is correct. So already there's no need to be negative about the industry and the country because pointers are to the opposite direction.
Thank you. Honorable Esther Hazen.
Thank you, Jay. Honorable Minister, the new charter admittedly addressed the issues, but what was the reasoning behind the...
You, Deputy Speaker, you, Deputy Minister, how National Treasurer and the Minister communicates with the media is open for discussion. But how the Department and Minister communicates with Parliament is determined by the rules and regulations. And the Minister is required to respond to questions for written reply in Parliament. In August, Deputy Minister, I don't know if you are still a mayor, the EFF asked the Minister of Finance how many Deputy Director Generals and Senior Directors are employed by the department and how many of those are women. It is now 2 months later, we still haven't got a response. It should take less than 30 minutes to compile such information if you know what you are doing in your department. Yes. Unless if you are still a mayor of Egurule. Thank you.
Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. My understanding is that ministry, its purpose is for strategic leadership. And there's always machinery for the effective execution of that task. And that task is not about knowing every ones and twos in the department. It's about ensuring that you steer the institution in the proper direction where it's supposed to go. And I think as far as that is concerned, the minister is doing that very well. But with regard to the Deputy General, Deputy General and all those, we can follow those up for you if you still need them.
Let's have Honorable Abraham
Point
Ntankiso.
of order.
Yes, what's
Deputy
the point
Speaker,
of
sorry.
order?
I don't think, Deputy Speaker, we must accept such a dismissal as Parliament. I think if the Deputy Minister doesn't know what he's doing in the department, he must just say, I don't know. He mustn't come and tell us here that those are not his responsibilities. His responsibility is strategic leadership. Parliament mustn't accept to be dismissed by deputy ministers. If you don't know, just say, hey guys, I don't know, which will just expose that we're paying you for nothing.
Yeah, okay, all right. Honorable Deputy Minister.
I wish I could ask Honorable Lozi the names of the branch leaders of the FF in Egurulen to tell me now. No, he will not. Who are they? The point is that Thank you very much. I think the answer I've given, Deputy Speaker, I'm actually satisfied with it, that the purpose of this office is strategic leadership, and it will always be guided by the technical expertise that are actually deployed for that purpose.
Honorable Deputy Minister, you insist you will reply to that answer as it is said. Let's take that as your response. The other one really, yeah, okay, all right. Okay. Honorable Schmidt? It's done.
Chair,
Okay.
Honorable,
Honorable Ntankiso, yeah, okay, yes. Honorable Member, I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead.
yes. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. We believe as the African National Congress that it is correct for the Deputy Minister to share information with Parliament. And equally, we believe that it is good for the department to share information with communities. If the better part or most part of the communities use social media, then we really feel as the African National Congress that the ministry is in the right direction. We, however, wish to state that for now, if the ministry makes use of the departmental communication to get messages across, then for the moment, that is cost saving.
Honorable
However,
Member, I'm afraid your time has expired. We'll
Thank you.
consider yours as a comment and
Thank
not
you.
a question. Honorable Schmidt. Who's Honorable H.C. Smith? He's not here, we're passing. Oh, you done, okay. Let's proceed to the next question. Asked by Honorable Yako to the Minister of Mineral Resources. Honorable Minister of Mineral Resources, Honorable Goya de Montashe, there's question 182 asked of you by Honorable Yako.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Comrade Honorable Iago, want to know if we had a meeting in Australia where we agreed to fast-track mining developments in Kolobeni. The reality of the matter is a delegation, a South African delegation, went to what is called Africa Down Under, which is an equivalent of the mining in Daba in Australia. And went there, and our message was very simple. South Africa is a good investment destination. In the process, we talked to various mining companies, and not particularly one about Kolobeni. There is no commitment we've made about Kolobeni. We made a commitment that South Africa is a good investment destination, particularly in mining. And therefore, in that process, meeting various mining companies, we encourage them to come to invest. Let me talk a little bit about Kolobeni. You see, the issue of Kolobeni has been on the table since 2002. no decision is taken or executed, it is my commitment, not to anybody else, that that issue must be concluded the sooner the better. Whatever way, rather than keeping it hanging all the time from 2002 to 2018 for 16 years. It is a bad way of dealing with investors.
Honorable Schmidt. Honorable Yako, yes, sorry.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The Constitutional Court, in its recent ruling of the right of communities to have their land, even if the land holds minerals, began by quoting Fanon in The Riches of the Earth, and where he states, for a colonized people, the most essential value, because the most concrete, is first and foremost the land. The land with which it will bring them bread and above all, dignity. The Constitutional Court judge then went on to say the existence of a mineral right does not itself extinguish the right of a landowner or any other occupier of the land in question. The ruling of the court will prevent communities from being evicted without their consent. Does this in any way affect your approach in how you engage with the people of Xolobeni? And if yes, how will this engage your engagements?
Honorable Minister.
I've been to Xolobeni physically. I'm not reading about it. And in Xolobeni, we met the communities, 9 organizations, majority of which were village trusts, which expressed their interest in mining in Xolobeni. There is the Xolobeni Crisis Committee, which is opposed to it, which tried to disrupt that meeting. And one of the issues that we could not accede to is to deprive the people of Xolobeni to speak for themselves. We stopped, we couldn't agree to that, and we engaged them. We continue to engage the crisis committee in Xolobeni. We're setting up a meeting with them, we'll talk to them, because,
The honorable members.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the court order responded to that yesterday and said that is in line with the law. There's nothing new in that. They must be consulted. That's why after visiting all the major mining areas, one of the findings we made was that mining companies must consult with communities more thoroughly before they start mining and on an ongoing basis. That debate is on the table for the sector.